Hey cats, it's Ed News Hound Bud here with another dose of that all-important running news for you. We're checking out the cancelled Great South Run, also discussing the recent women's world record in the marathon over in Chicago. Nike's new CEO was rocking a really cool pair of running shoes at a recent event, and of course the new running shoe releases for the week. Let's get into it. Thanks for joining me on the channel, it is always appreciated. If you're yet to do so, please hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. Also drop us a comment to help with the YouTube algorithm, it seems to get it out to more people, more new viewers. Danke schön. Kicking off, we have to talk about the Great South Run. It did get cancelled in the end. I think about a day before, or a couple of days before, they did comment that the weather was going to be very severe, but the event was still going to take place. Sadly, it didn't make it though. I think there was about 23,000 runners that were due to take to the route, but it was cancelled due to weather concerns. Looking at the weather that they did have, there's quite strong gusts actually around about the time of the race. I think it was a 10-miler. It's not a half marathon like the Great Bristol Run, for example. I do believe that people who had places can switch to either a refund or enter into the 2025 event if they want to. I think the key issue here was the start and finish areas. I think they were looking like they were going to be greatly affected by the weather conditions that they had on the day. I think the first couple of miles and then the last couple of miles were going to take the worst of the weather, being right near the seafront. Maybe they were worried about like debris or just general rain and sort of very windy conditions. Sad to see this happen, though in fairness there's very little you can do with weather. You can train, you can dial in all the paces, all the work beforehand, but you just can't vouch for the weather. Have you had a race cancelled or postponed due to the weather? I think I had a half marathon cut short to like 12.6 or 12.7 miles or something a few years back, but I think that's about the worst I can think of. And when I did see the area that we were going to run on the final stretch, it was just sheet ice. So that's probably why they did it. Now, I've got to talk about the Chicago Marathon now and the women's world record. It did get broken there, under 2 hours 10 minutes now. I don't often go to the LETSRUN website, but a viewer did point out that I should perhaps go and have a look at an article that was on there. I've got to be honest, I'm a bit Marmite about that site. It seems like it's a place that you either really like or you probably don't want to go there. I have to talk about the rather interesting discussion though about this time on the site. There are some comments that have been made about the lady that achieved this world record. Just leaves a little bit of a sour taste in the mouth. I'm going to avoid bringing any more attention to those comments. They all kind of revolve around perhaps banned substances. I'm not sure that's my area to talk about. I'm going to stay well away from that. But I do perhaps pose the question as to why the men's records have not had the same comments said about them. We've had various records broken over the last few years, and people aren't so quick to suggest that people have perhaps been utilising those substances for that. So, to the shoes, that's the bit we all enjoy, right? The interesting thing here is on the LETSRUN discussion is the potential that the winner here could have been a super responder to the ALPHAFLY 3 shoes that they wore within the event. So the Vaporfly shoe had that famous potential 4% increase in running economy, but let's not forget that some people see no improvement, in fact, using those shoes. It's almost a hindrance to them, yet for other people it may have an even greater effect, boosting that economy up to like 6, 7 or 8%. I wouldn't say it's a given that you instantly feel a difference in something like the ALPHAFLY 3. You really need to get a bit of experience with those shoes, in my humble opinion. So she had a previous PB of 2 hours 14:18 in the Vaporfly. And if we said that was like a 2% economy or something, 2 hours 9 minutes 45 would be a 7% gain in economy. So I guess the potential is there that somebody could have like the perfect race conditions in terms of weather. They could dial in their nutrition, Of course, you're allowed pacers in the Chicago Marathon event as well. They're not allowed in places like Boston, for example. I think there were some comments made by like the organizer of Boston as well that were really odd, you know, really salty kind of comments. Just seems weird. Looking at all of the information that we've got about the potential boost of the shoes, and also that the athlete themselves had been using some different nutrition, I think some stuff from Morton. And let's face it, you know, they're pretty quick, right? If you've got the ultimate conditions and everything goes well for you, why could this person not have achieved such a PB? If you're right on top of your game, you're on form, you're fit, your training's gone really well, that could be the reason why they did it. I've got to be honest, using the ALPHAFLY 3s at the weekend to do a 5k, I really do think they'd be a marathon shoe for me. I almost found it like there was too much shoe under my foot, I suppose, and as I was adopting a more sort of half marathon or marathon like stride rather than, you know, that super quick cadence you want for a 5k, the shoe just seemed to work way better for me. So I think it's down to the person. Perhaps sometimes you can just dial it in just right. You've got the right shoe, the right person, the right everything else, and that leads to what we have here. I do find it humorous that people are quick to call out these records and false times or whatever. It reminds me of the classic Neil Young lyric from his song Ambulance Blues. So all you critics sit alone, you know better than me for what you've shown. With your stomach pump and your hook at ladder dreams, we should get together for some scenes. Read into that what you will. So the new Nike CEO decided to rock some running shoes that everybody's sort of talking about now because they incorporate loads of Nike tech all in one. The Pegasus Premium here on foot for some selfie pics with the Nike employees at a recent event. I mean, he's got his work cut out right now. Adidas sort of making up loads of market share somehow with their Samba shoe. Doesn't seem to have changed an awful lot since I was wearing those about 25 years ago. Though in fairness, I still see more Vaporfly shoes out there than anything else right now. People still rocking their trusty Asics and Brooks models over here in the UK as well at recent local events. Better views here are leaked of the midsole, which is a thick slab of classic Nike foams and tacks. There's Zoom X in there, there's some Zoom Air, there's also React on the bottom layer. It kind of reminds me of like a ALPHAFLY, perhaps like the Pegasus Turbo and like a Air Max like thrown together. Even more detail spotted here, 15 PSI on the Air section, which is apparently the same as found in the women's version of the Nike Pegasus Air units. So there you go, it's 20 PSI in the men's ones, 15 in the women's. Apparently women just don't want as much of a high pressure air pod, apparently. That's what it suggests here anyway. I can't help but think this shoe will be a bit weighty. There's lots of material there, lots of glue, lots of upper. It looks like a reaction to the popular New Balance shoes that I see just about every sort of young youth wearing around the planet right about now. Anyway, the Nike CEO, the new guy, he's down with the kids. Let's hope he tells them to slim the running range and realise that they shouldn't milk the same idea over and over and over. Okay, some new running shoe releases for you right now. I will be very frank with you, it's a bit slim. I don't know if anyone's holding some stuff back, like Nike or someone. They do, though, have loads of tones, or pretty much 7 colourways, in fact, of the Pegasus Trail 5 Goretex model right now. Why on earth we need that many colourways of this shoe, I don't know. This would have been a prime one to do in that Kipchoge colourway. You know, Pegasus Trail, Goretex, absolutely perfect. Minty upper with the Kenyan sort of dirt on the bottom, that would have been perfect. Why we haven't got one of those, don't know. No sooner than more pairs of the Asics Superblast 2 appeared on the Asics website, and they've all gone. This new fish-like inspired version is almost out in all sizes. Almost none of the original launch colourways left too. In the US, you've got a black version, but that's limited to 2 pairs per person. I don't think I've ever seen anything like it. A standard release, but limited in this way. It really is bizarre stuff, especially for a shoe that's so good. Asics, you really need to get more pairs of these out. Stop making them so scarce. When people are able to get them, they will buy them. I don't think these are going to be sat around on shelves anywhere. They do seem to sell out instantly. What do you think of this new fish sort of like colourway? Really does remind me of the scales there of a bass or something, I don't know. Maybe it's down to like the production or something, or the materials. Who knows? I would suggest though, getting in quick if you do want a new pair. As soon as you see them, get them in that basket straight away. That's just about all of the running news for this week. If you spotted any cool stories, let me know in the email in the description of this video. Musical interlude time for you, and I'm going to do a few special sort of Halloween related ones as we build up for that sort of festive season. Is it festive? I suppose so. Some people seem to like Halloween more than anything else. Today it comes from Scott Walker and his album Scott 3. This one's called Winter Night. So it starts off with these really spooky strings, some really nice reverb on there. Kind of sounds like the introduction to a horror film, in fact, when they open the doors and they walk into the haunted mansion. What I love about this song is as you go to the verses and to, I don't know whether there is a real chorus, I suppose, but the mood of the track changes. Just with one single chord change, suddenly it feels quite sentimental, and then it goes to something quite sour. It's really quite a beautiful thing. What I love about these strings later in the track, they're quite icy, almost like Jack Frost himself, beaming shards of ice directly at your ears, but not in an unpleasant way. Almost sounds like the whole track is sort of frozen, like you've walked into a room full of ice and kind of mist or something. It's a quite beautiful thing, and it's a wonderful vocal delivery as per usual from Scott Walker. One of the true greats, and if you want to listen to something that's really going to make you think, really going to put you in a certain situation or give you a certain feeling, then Scott Walker's music is absolutely the way to go. Go and check it out, Winter Night from Scott Walker. Right, my pumpkin pals, it's time for me to hit the road and start to chop up the video and get it out there for you. Better do a bit of running as well, I suppose. Thanks for tuning in. Please hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up like. Also, drop us a comment to help with the YouTube algorithm. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you